What if I told you that the construction industry is losing 2 million years of experience every single week? Now, look, I didn't believe it either when I first heard it, but the math checks out. Just about every day, 10,000 workers leave the construction industry. Some just moving on to a different industry, but most retiring. It's called the Silver Tsunami, and it's a reference to us silver haired folks who have been in the industry for a while who are coming up on a much deserved retirement. So let's do the math real quick. 10,000 workers per day, 30, 40, even 50 years of experience, times 10,000, 300 to 500,000 years of experience that's leaving every single day. Multiply that out by 7 for a week, that's 2 million, over 2 million, really. Multiply that out by a month, by a year, and you see that this can be devastating to the construction industry. Now, while that might be a major challenge, it also presents a major opportunity. If you're a younger worker who's looking to take a step into a leadership role or just wants to learn more, or if you're an older worker who's transitioning from a doer to more of a teacher or even a leader, the opportunities have never been better as a result of the Silver Tsunami. So the good news, if you're interested in training better workers, transferring knowledge from the older workers, or transitioning from one of the doers to be one of the teachers and leave your legacy on the construction industry, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Inexorable Force. Let's get after it. If you were a construction business owner, what would you do if your best guy suddenly retires tomorrow? Do you have the systems in place and the process in place to take what he or she used to do and transfer it to the younger workers who are going to replace them? Listen, you can't replace 30 years in 30 days, right? So it's a challenge for business owners and it's a challenge for younger workers. They're being denied a person, a resource that they would have had for years to learn from. It's important to acknowledge that we're not talking about people who just have the title. We're talking about the people in the background who make things happen. I'm talking about someone who has the answers, someone that people just go to when they need a problem solved. The biggest challenge for industry leaders is that person could be a superintendent, they could be a crew lead, or they could just be one of the workers who's been there a long time and knows the little things that others just don't. It can be hard for leaders to even define what that is. It's hard to explain what it is that he or she has or he or she knows. They just know it. They know how to talk to the customers. They know who to go to if we have a particularly challenging inspection. They know the problem that hasn't yet happened because they've been burned by it 27 times in the past year. Those are the people that were most at risk of losing, and those are the people that could have the largest negative impact if they walk out the door without us transferring knowledge. Listen, if you've been in the construction industry, you know that for decades, the experienced workers were the ones who held the entire thing together. They're the backbone of the industry. They're the ones who, for the hours, hours, and hours, built up the experience through repetition, through mistakes, both the ones they made and learned from, and the ones they prevented from happening in the first place. And they've had arguably decades of mentorship behind them. Well, they're coming up on much deserved retirement at the same time that the industry is struggling to attract new and young workers to replace them. It's not hyperbolic to say that for every 7 people retiring, only 2 of them are coming into the industry. And a scary statistic, almost 50% of the people who come into the industry today have completely left within the first 2 years. I'm not talking about moved jobs. I'm talking about they have left the construction industry for something else completely. Now, this creates an incredibly dangerous equation where a ton of experience is leaving, not enough experience is entering, and a widening gap between that gets worse every single day. That is the Silver Tsunami. Talking about, unfortunately, an industry that has not advertised itself well over the last couple decades and isn't as appealing as, say, becoming an influencer to someone in their early 20s. Most construction companies have processes, they have procedures, they have SOPs, and they have checklists. But the challenge is that in construction, so much of our knowledge is tribal knowledge. It exists person to person. In other words, the only reason that you know how to do something is someone told you how to do it. There wasn't necessarily a document or a video you could go watch and do it. Someone, a person, probably older than you, showed you how to do it. So ask yourself this question: how many of the processes that we use every day are actually documented? Is it 10%, 20%, maybe 50%? The truth is, most of the knowledge utilized every single day lives inside people, not inside some system. That's where the industry is most exposed, and that's where the most opportunity is for us right now. Here's what most construction companies get wrong: they think it's just about replacing the person. The problem isn't replacing the person, it's replacing the experience. Think about it. You can hire another person, you can buy another truck, you can buy new tools, but you can't buy the experience and the knowledge that someone has in their head. How do you replace 30 years of judgment? How do you replace pattern recognition or relationship building or just good instincts? The truth is, you don't, because those are all built over time. And time, unfortunately, is the one thing we don't have. So let's be real. Retirement isn't going to wait for a proper succession plan. Retirement isn't going to wait for someone to sit down and write SOPs. Someone who's coming up on retirement is thinking about the one thing and the one person they should be thinking about: themselves. The clock's ticking. It's time for us to fix it. Now, look, it's not all doom and gloom. The people who recognize this problem early have already put together the systems and the processes they need to survive. However, there's a lot of companies that aren't taking it seriously enough or just don't have the time to address the problem. That's where you come in. Your opportunity lies literally in helping companies survive the Silver Tsunami. And that makes you very valuable. You've potentially given your body to 3 other companies. It's time that you give your skills and your experience to 300 more. The key in all of this is going to be to help build training systems, mentoring programs, things that are going to help transfer knowledge from older workers in a way that can be understood by younger workers. Listen, older workers learn in a very, very different way than young workers learn today. So you can't just stick your young worker with an old worker and say, here, teach him. It's not going to go well. You've probably had this experience. I know I have. But the opportunity lies in how can we take what they know and translate it into a how to teach younger people. We can't stop these retirements, but we can prevent some of this knowledge from disappearing with them. That's what this entire channel is about. Not just identifying the problem, but helping solve it. And no matter what your expertise level is, no matter what your level of comfort with technology is, you can contribute and become very valuable and get paid to do this. If you're interested in helping, I'll see you on the next video.